your liveevent.com coaches show presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. I'm Chase Miller. We'll tip off the program with high school basketball in North Dakota as the Lions All-Star Basketball Series is having to go from a 2-class system to 3-class system, and because of that in North Dakota, the Lions Basketball All-Star Series will have a new nomination process in select of how many AA, single A, and Class B players will be nominated to the event. We'll hear from North Dakota Coaches Association rep Mike Hendrickson on the new selection process and guidelines entering here in this season. We'll also go from there to chat with Alexis Bachmeier from Fargo's Shanley Volleyball, as the Deacons will be a top 4 seed heading into the EDC volleyball tournament, and our senior spotlight will chat with Leah Tibbetts of the Hawley Nuggets. And we'll wrap up the show with some post-game interviews from Ada-Borup-West section semifinal round football win on Saturday, and hear from Tanner Carlson of the Wyndmere-Lidgerwood Warbirds volleyball program as well. Let's dive into the show. Here's our one-on-one with head coach of Fargo South and rep of the North Dakota High School Activities Association. He is Mike Hendrickson. Joining us now is Mike Hendrickson, head coach of the Fargo South Bruins, but in this particular instance, he is part of the North Dakota High School Coaches Association, the rep that talks with the folks at the Lions All-Star Basketball Series. And Mike, I know you were peppered each way and every way during the Lions All-Star Basketball Series in July, with everybody knowing it was the last 2-class system, Class A versus Class B, which it's been pretty much done since its inception in North Dakota. Now we're going to 3 classes. So did you break it up East and West? Did you put everybody in a draft? Is it still, B, A, double A? How did the Coaches Association of Lions Club come with this new formula, which we'll see coming up in July in 2024 here, Mike?
It's a really pretty neat story. It was like we were almost spies and secretive and everything. And, we had numerous meetings and, emails and talking back and forth with Randy Johnson, the president of North Dakota Coaches Association, Ghislaine Orvik, which is a big key to the Lions Club, and then Mike Sorley, who's the chairman, along with myself. And, we did many Zoom meetings and phone calls and touching base back and forth. And finally, we got together sometime in April, and we sat down and we all brought a ton of things to the table. How should this look, and all these different ideas, and then threw them out there, put them on a board, kind of went back and forth over them. And the biggest thing, I guess, what our answer was when we wanted to get this thing rolling was we want it to be unique. We took, and here's how the Shrine does their games. Here's how the Optimist does their games. And they're unique to their own sports. And then we thought, the Lions All-Star game, just like you said a little bit ago here, that we've been like this forever. And so we said, what, let's go with where we're at. Let's keep it going. And nothing's ever going to be in stone, but let's keep it where it's at. And we're going to say the AA team was going to stay together with their 12 players. Alternates, same thing as always, as many alternates as we need. It can be as many as 6. It can be, we've had in years past where there's been 0 alternates. And so it's one of those situations. And then you turn around and we said, what do you do with those other classes now, being we have 2 more added here? And for year number 1, we're going to say, take 6 from the A level, 6 from the B level. Again, discussions came up. Do we have 3 separate teams? Discussions came up. Do we put everybody in a hat and have a draft? All these different discussions came up, and we just said, let's stay with this one to start with. There'll be 6 with the A, 6 with the B, and then we're going to have 6 alternates with the A and 6 alternates with the B. So if we happen to lose a player from the A ranks, we're going to take a player from the A ranks, and vice versa, and the same with the B ranks. Now, like we were talking about a little bit ago here, that could maybe change. Let's say A player, we lose a 6'8" post player, and there are no other post players on the A team, and there is a 6'8" kid on the B team. That's a pretty good post player. We're going to involve the coaches of the team, and I'll talk a little bit about how the coaches are going to get selected here, but we'll talk to the coaches and say, what, do we want to go this route? Do we want to have another 6'8" kid to fill a post position that way, or are we okay finding a B or an A kid to go fill that same route along the lines that way? So again, it wasn't something that we just went, hey, this is what we're going to do, and went with it. We put a lot of time into it, and we're going to try it this year and see what happens from there.
So again, 12 in AA, 6 in A, 6 in B. I'm sure some people are going to hear those numbers, Mike, depending on what area you're from, town, community, maybe where your son or daughter is playing in a particular class. And you're going to go say, hey, what about double A? Why do they get 12? And, why does A and B get 6? So what was the reasoning, I guess, in that, room, so to speak, as in Hamilton, the room where it happened? Why did we end up with 12 in double A, 6 in A, and 6 in B at the end of the day? What kind of came to that conclusion here, Mike?
Well, I think that conclusion was, and I know we did lose some teams out of the A ranks, the Devils Lakes, the Valley City, the Wahpeton from over here, and Watford City, and over in that side of things. But we came down to, they said that you have this group that's pretty much the same, and with that double A, and again, the A and B is what we were doing before anyway. It was still that with an addition of about 5 teams to it, and that was, I would say, the biggest sticking point we had. I mean, is this the way it's going to be equal? Is this the way it's going to be? And, and again, it goes back to, hey, year one, we got to start somewhere. We did not trying to figure out if we could make 3 teams, if we could do a double A, and a B. Well, there's really no way to make that work unless we were going to play for an entire week. And I don't know if our sponsors want us to go for an entire week. We thought about having a draft, and that's, like I said, we wanted it to be unique. That's what the volleyball optimists are doing. They're putting everybody in a hat and they're just drawing names out of there. Well, that kind of takes the competitiveness out of the game, and maybe it doesn't, but that was in our eyes. We thought that if it's nice when the double A can say, hey, we won them both, or that the past the B team would go, hey, hey, we're better than the A team, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that competitiveness. And I do feel we looked at other states, what South Dakota is doing, what Minnesota does. It's really been watered down in our group eyes, that we thought that, they're doing just they're getting together and having a open tournament, and they're just kids show up and they Saturday, Sunday, they just get together and they make 8 teams and they play a little tournament. Well, we still want to have some prestige to this. We still want it to be the North Dakota Lions game, and going on its 50 years, and keep going and that type of stuff. And so we put a lot of thought process into it. And again, like you said, it's not, after every year we're going to sit back and say, you know what, maybe we need to change this and go this route. And I got all my papers sitting next to me here, and they're about this thick. And I'm like, well, I'm keeping these because I want to go back. If we're going to change it, here's our discussion we had on it before. I don't know if anybody came to our meeting and was like, we're going to do this or else. Every one of us sat there and said, hey, you know what? That's really good. That's really good. And when we went through every part of it, there were pluses and negatives of every single way that we could possibly do this game.
With that going forward here, Mike, the selection process, I know sometimes if you don't have a family member, maybe you don't have a player that's on your team, you're not sure how the selection process goes through to be nominated or to play in this particular event. So take us through that from a coach's point of view, from a player's point of view. How does the Coaches Association work with the Lions Club to ultimately, at the end of the day, get those particular players having an opportunity to showcase their talents one more time in the state before they go on to college or go on to, their careers out of high school?
Great question. And I'll go A first, and I'll go double A now, I guess. But what we do is at our state basketball meetings, the coaches come and they bring in their kids that they think are all conference, all state type players. And then what we do is, and those kids might be freshmen, juniors, whatever. From there, if they are selected to their all conference teams, then if they're seniors, I turn around and go back to their coaches and say, hey, here's a form. Fill out stats, fill out attitude, fill out. I mean, it's not that you are the best player. If you're a jerk, we don't want that to represent where we're at. And so we go through this whole process of this evaluation that every coach fills out, gets that back to me. Now I have a roster, and what we try to do is 6 kids from the East, 6 kids from the West, and that's what we'd like in a norm. Sometimes that changes, but that's kind of where we're at along the lines that way. So the coaches have a big say in it. A lot of times they're pushing their own players, which everybody does. They want to push their own kids and get them up there and go in that route. Now, B is a little bit different. What happens, like this year, is going to be a little bit easier for us. I think coming after this year, it's going to be a little tougher. But we take our 8 teams that were in the state tournament, from each region, and their coaches are, if they're coaching again this year, they are in the committee, and we meet with that committee. Usually it's at the state tournament, where because of this, we're going to do it a little bit differently, more of a Zoom type meeting, but we're going to meet that way. And what happens is each region brings a certain amount of players to it. Sometimes ranked, sometimes just, hey, we're bringing in these 5 kids and going from there. We would like this year, we're looking at it to be ranked. Here's your region 1, here's the best player, second, all the way down the lines that way. Then we take that group of 40 kids and try to narrow that down. And a lot of times that gets to be the B meetings in the past got a little hectic, because trying to get where we're at, and sometimes that team that wins the state might have 3 superstars, but somebody else in their region had a really good player. And so how do we move those things around? And ideally, we'd like to say there's 1 player from each region, and then 4 players at large that we want to fill in there, and going that route. And so we're going to try that this year. Now that number is going to change a little bit. Again, a big number of 40, and it's just going to go to, I shouldn't say 40, but there's 4 regions in one. And so with those regions there, we'll be able to figure out, is that still, we're going to bring 5 in, or are we going to bring more in? And that's where we're going to be making that decision as the year goes along here too. But then that's how we're doing. The coaches, again, are putting these kids together. We're looking at stats. And again, we're looking at attitude, looking at all those areas to get those best people that want to represent. I mean, you talk about that is a character. I mean, we deal with Ghislaine Orvik, and I respect Ghislaine a whole heck of a lot. He was a teacher and a coach here when I first started teaching, and I try to exemplify what he's all about. And he's such a strong person with the Lions and everything that he does. And so we want to try to amplify that on the coaches side of things. And there's been kids that have been left off here. And we want to deal with character. We want the positive character. We want to be in that situation when we put these teams together.
And then from the coach's perspective, Mike, is it the same kind of selection process? Do you just say, okay, Mike hasn't done it in a while, so it's Mike's turn, or, Jill hasn't done it in a while, so it's Jill's turn? How do you kind of go about that moving forward, also with the 3-class system, as we kind of transition that into July?
Well, we'll keep the double A just like it is, and it's what the first person who gets asked to do it is whoever wins the state championship game. You're the first person asked, and if you took second place, you're asked second. And and coaches have stuff going on in the summer, whether they're doing something with AAU or their own kids are involved in some tournament, because usually that week there's a big girls tournament in Chicago, and there's guys stuff going on around the country, and we give them those opportunity, and then we just build down from there. Now, what we're going to do with the A-B mixed team is if the person who wins the A and the person who wins the B are going to be co-coaches. And that's really what it turns into anyway. Like before we'd have first and second place coaches, and they're not necessarily in that order. Yes, one got called the head coach, but during those practices and during that week, you're co-coaches anyway. And so that process is going to be the winner of the A and the winner of the B state tournaments will be given the first opportunity to be the coaches of the teams.
Last thing for you, Mike, your 3-class system, your thoughts on it, because I know every coach has been asked about it, but your thoughts on how the impact is going to be on the court, but then also how does it impact the Lions All-Star Series? Do you see a lot of things that are going to be different, or is it a lot of these players already are playing with each other because it is travel basketball, because what it is maybe compared to the 90s or even in the 70s? How will the 3-class system impact what we see, just on a Friday night in December, January, compared to what we might see, later on in the capital city in Fargo in July here, Mike?
That's great, because I look back I played in this game a long time ago, 1986, and I remember when they brought us in, we were in Bismarck, the boys team stayed in Bismarck, and I remember that first meeting. And, these Class B kids are walking in. I didn't know any of them. And even the Class A kids, you kind of knew this kid because you played against him, but he was a bad guy at that time. And so there was nothing there. And well, today, it's, like this past summer when they pull in, they're all together. Because they've all played with each other on numerous teams. Some of them are on the same AU teams for the last 4 or 5 years. And there's no animosity whatsoever. There's not a person in that room that everybody else doesn't know. And so I do like about that. I don't think a lot's going to change in that route of this whole process of stuff. But I'll tell you what, with this double A and B, there are going to be some phenomenal games this year. I can't wait. That's the fun part about being in this Lions position. I watch all kinds of games. It's great going and watching Minot High play Dickinson or something like that. And it gives me the opportunity to get out and sit in the stands, or else I'm watching it on our Huddle apps or whatever. But it's just so neat just to see that these rivalries, now there's going to be new ones started up. And I'll pick on Coach Ralph for a minute, does him coming into Wahpeton, from Wahpeton coming into that division, does he go, well, hey, we're going to be in the state no matter what? But you know what? Hey, I wouldn't want to play Kindred. and that's just what I think is going to be really, really neat with those teams dropping into that A division and how those that, I mean, I can sit here and say, hey, Region 1 is loaded. Well, then you go look at Region 2. It's like, holy smokes. I mean, I'd love to be in the gym when Devils Lake and Four Winds play. So I think there's going to be a ton of that parity across the board. In the AA, we look at it as Fargo South here. We're going to be one of the small schools in our area, but you know what? We got to go compete. And that's, I don't think anybody can complain about it. Anybody can say, hey, this happened too fast. But at the same point, what? Don't you as a coach, I want to just compete. I want to win everything. But at the same point, it's like, hey, now we don't have to go to Wahpeton and go down there and play on a cold Tuesday night. I mean, now we're like, hey, we really, after Christmas, we have one game on the road, and it's a Saturday afternoon at Grand Forks Central. And it's like, wow, I'm not going to be used to that. So it's a point of it's just like, wow, let's just get ready to play this season and let's go that route. And I think it's just going to be a plus for this game. And you know what? Maybe we swung and missed on this one. Who knows? Maybe it's not going to look like this in 2 years. But I think with all the criteria and everything we put together with it, I think it's going to be fun and exciting. And granted, some people are going to say, why is it 6-6 like you said earlier here? And it's like, well, you know what? Maybe sometime we rotate it and it's 6 AA and 6 B versus 12 A's. Who knows? I mean, you could throw out a ton of things at it.
Yeah, you just got to start from the ground up and see how you kind of maneuver every particular year. I'm sure you'll get some feedback one way or another, Mike, regardless, after you finally get to it in July. As always, Mike, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the fall here, even though it kind of is winter, which means basketball season is going to be upon us, and we'll see you at a gym sometime soon.
Hey, perfect. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do for us. I mean, the Lions and you guys, your live event has been it's a great relationship. We love what you do for us and keep it going.
It's reciprocated back as well between you, Ghislaine, and everyone else. So thanks again, Mike.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey growers, when working on your water management solutions, call Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. They are your water management contractor, helping you with tile drainage plans, service drainage plans, or both. Remember, water management is a lifetime investment. Call Chad 701-430-0182 to get your water problem solved. For more information, follow Chad's Excavating on Facebook. For tile drainage and service plans, call 701-430-0182. Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Do you want that new boat? Are you building onto your home? Maybe you want the new camper or ATV. Dakota Heritage Bank can help you. This is Dustin Nagel, president at Dakota Heritage Bank Hillsborough location. You can visit with me or our other loan officers to help with loans and lines of credit from Dakota Heritage Bank. We are serving you with locations in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. Dakota Heritage Bank offers financial services you expect with a local perspective. dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
Our senior spotlight is around the corner with Hawley Volleyball, but first, let's sit down with Shanley Volleyball head coach Alexis Bachmeier. Alexis Bachmeier, the head coach of the Fargo Shanley Deacons, joins us now on our YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. This was recorded before they closed off the regular season with their match against Grand Forks or whatever. But the good news is here for you, Alexis, going into the match last night and going into the EDC tournament, more importantly, you earned a bye into that quarterfinal round. You're going to be a top 4 seed again. So what does it mean from August to where we are now here, kind of flipping the page to November, being a top 4 seed in that EDC volleyball tournament?
It feels pretty great. Especially since last season. It was my very first season coaching. It was a new culture shift. So everybody was kind of learning. And then this season we played really, really hard in the summer. We went to some tournaments. We just gelled really, really well. And then working through some injuries, some players not playing due to those injuries, and just kind of working through that adversity has been a challenge for us, as I think it is for a lot of teams. but I really like the way we battle. And I like the way we've finished most of our games. Going into the tournament, one of our big focuses is going to be, pushing through when it's tough. I mean, this is the end of the season. It's a long season. The fall is super long for most athletes because they're just coming out of a super fun summer, and then they go hard in the fall. And so that's just going to be our mindset, like pushing when it's really hard. Because champions push when it's hard, they push when it's easy. And I don't think we're going to take anything for granted. That's been a really big message in our gym is, how do you want to leave your jersey? How do you want to leave the program? How do you want to finish the season? So.
And you kind of mentioned a little bit about going from year one to year two. What have you noticed from as a coach? What have you noticed from the EDC that has maybe been some challenges, but maybe what's been maybe easier the second go around, so to speak, being with this team, being with the coaches, maybe having a little familiarity with the teams that you're going up against, understanding how they want to attack you, so to speak, when they have their hitters at the net. How's year two kind of gone in that retrospect here, Alex?
Yeah. So year two has gone better, personally for me. Because taking over an entire volleyball program at 23 is kind of a tall task, a tall order. So just having like that year of maturity under my belt, a year of experience was major in my confidence, because I mean, coming straight from NDSU, I literally didn't have any experience. So a year of experience has been a major help in that. And I think it's been easier for my girls too, just because, being a high school girl, it's not super easy to just like buy into something right away, especially when you've got a really young coach. And so I just give major credit to our girls for, kind of just stepping in that role and just saying, hey, let's do this together. And the parents too have been really awesome, helping in this year too. So, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
As far as the EDC goes, it's a wild, drastic difference from last year. Last year, there was a clear standout winner, and the 2 and 3 seeds were pretty even. But this year, it was basically anybody's game. And for a long time, Shanley actually was never voted like top 5 or top 6 in any media polls. And so that has been like a major fire and a major chip on our shoulders, because we're gonna earn a 3 seed or a 4 seed regardless. And I think that just builds to our fire right now. Like that just gives us an edge. And I think it's an important edge to go in and have that in the tournament.
Yeah, postseason volleyball, always fun here, Alexis. And like you said, you go from August all the way to November. It's been a long grind, but now you kind of see a journey in front of you of kind of what is to come here, knowing if you play well the next, 10 days, so to speak, you get to go to that Fargo Dome and see where the chips lie for 3 more volleyball matches. So what is the biggest thing you want to see from your team once you get to that postseason run? Is there one particular element, one particular play? I know we mentioned it earlier, but what's the ultimate thing you want to see from your girls once you get to that postseason here, Alexis?
The ultimate thing is really just that competitive drive. I think that, especially late in the season, that outshines kind of any talent or any skill focused teams have been working on. Because if you go into a game and you've practiced serve receive or serving for hours on end, but you don't have that edge, you don't have that mental shift in your head to just do whatever it takes to win, that won't take you very far. And I think all of the teams are really decently pretty even when it comes to skill. There's, like I said, there's not one team that's going to outright dominate on any given night. I think what's going to be the major difference is 6 girls all having, 6 girls on the court, but the rest of the team all having that same mindset. Like, we're going to win. We're going to do whatever it takes to win. It's now or never kind of mentality. And so we're trying to push that in our gym right now. Like, it's a mental game. Volleyball is one of the mentally toughest games there is. And it really does. The championship takes over in the mind. That's where it starts.
You mentioned injuries here, and every team battles through some of them. You had a Maggie Shorma again go out with the wrist injury. She's not going to be with the team in terms of on the court play for the rest of the season. But the 2-part question is, what has she meant to this year's team, and how do you see her continuing to provide some leadership, even though she's not going to be, physically on the court playing moving forward here, Alexis?
She is going to be a great cheerleader on the bench. She's a great cheerleader in practice. She works really well with all of her teammates and coaches. And she's in a spot where she can see the game for the first time in a different mindset and a different perspective. She kind of gets to see the game from a coach's perspective a little bit. So that'll be good for her to bring that edge, like, hey, I played so long, but now here's what I'm seeing. And maybe sometimes our coaches are right when they say some things, kind of that thing. But yeah, she's going to be great. She's going to be great. She's going to fill in a gap, and just, really fill her teammates.
And then moving forward too, you mentioned Mezukua Kim's kind of been more playing it in that middle spot, and she just kind of came on and continuing to get better. How have you see her transition from August to where we are now here, and what has she provided to this year's club?
So Mess is awesome. Mess actually doesn't play in the off season. And you can't really tell because she's so athletic. Like she has super long arms. She is a threat as a blocker. I mean, I would personally hate playing against her because she is so dang tall. But she's great. She has shifted from middle to right side to middle to right side. So it's been tough on her. But she does it with kind of an elegance and a grace, and just says, yes, coach. She doesn't question it. She's just happy to be out there and to be able to make some plays and help her teammates out. So that's really awesome and mature of her to be out there. Yeah. What's
a characteristic or trait that you best like about the 2023 version of Shanley Deacon volleyball?
That's a good question. I like their humor best of all. I know that's kind of an interesting characteristic, but when you are so serious about volleyball, sometimes that kind of takes away from the fun of it. And that's how I always was as a player. And so it's nice to see girls having fun while playing volleyball and be able to have good relationships with coaches, because I think that's a major key to success and key to having mutual respect among players and teammates and coaches. So I think them being able to lighten the mood and find joy is probably one of the better things.
Yeah, 100%. And then Alexis, what have you taken from your days at NDSU, so to speak, and maybe brought with you to the high school game? Like you said, you've been a high school player, you've been there, done that. You kind of went through your next journey in life, at North Dakota State, understanding what it takes to, play at that level and be part of a team with everything there. What have you taken, so to speak, from NDSU into your first 2 years at Shanley? What was the one thing that you kind of wanted to take with you, so to speak, from your journey here?
I would say it would be kind of like off-season training. I think that most high school athletes understand somewhat the importance of off-season training, but really that is the difference maker with state championship winners and losers, to be very honest. I think that there's a lot of opportunity for girls to play in the off-season, not only play, but also get in the weight room. Speed and agility and just kind of like that athletic training is so vital. Number one, for injury prevention, and number two, for just like longevity in sports in general. We see girls that are kind of transitioning to be one sport athletes. But where that gets a lot of kids in trouble is honestly the longevity piece. Like, burnout is a very real thing. And so I think me coming from being a multi-sport athlete in high school to just doing volleyball as basically my full-time job, I understood the importance of needing to have that foundation in high school to be a multi-sport athlete. Because I never really got an injury in college. And my body, right now I'm doing good, because I'm older now, but I would say truly that athletic training, that multi-sport really is kind of what saved me and saved my mental health too, I would say. So
yeah,
that's a really big thing.
100%, bringing that perspective a little bit with them and adding to the culture there at Fargo Shanley. Alexis, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here as you get ready for the EDC volleyball tournament, and best of luck trying to get to that run to the Fargo Dome.
Thank you so much, Chase. It was a pleasure.
Alexis Bachmeier, head coach of the Fargo Shanley Deacons, will continue on our coaches show after this.
Time now for our senior spotlight on the YLEVEvent.com Coaches Show. Leah Tibbetts from Hawley joins us. Leah is a member of the volleyball team. And I understand from the speech that was, or the many things said about you at the senior night for the Hawley volleyball team, you do a lot of community work. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, what do you want to know? Just like things I do through the community or activities or?
All the above, yes.
Well, I'm involved in a lot of school activities such as volleyball, basketball, track and field, speech and debate, musical, pop singers, solo ensemble. I'm a part of a few different clubs such as like Unified Sports, which we bring over the kids from like Agassiz and we play sports with them, which is super fun.
Okay.
And I am a part of the Gold Mine business operations class where we kind of manage the student ran business. Do a lot of reach work with them, a lot of work through the church. Yeah.
And reach the folks that do backpacks and things like that and a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just had a radiothon for them not too long ago on KRJB. And let's see, we raised about $7,000 if I remember correctly.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Okay. What activities are you in also outside of school?
Outside of school, I was a part of a club volleyball league of Northern Alliance last year.
Oh, okay.
But since I did tear my ACL in basketball, I wasn't able to participate in that last year.
Right.
But other than that, not much. I go to physical therapy for my knee and yeah, I don't know what else really.
Okay. Yeah, you do have that big brace on it still. So obviously you're still recovering on that. How is that recovery going?
It's going good. It's definitely, I did not expect to play volleyball this year because it was cutting it close from that 6-month mark, but we put in the work and I've been getting in a little bit, so
okay.
Cool.
Leah Tibbetts from the Hawley Nuggets volleyball team on our senior spotlight this week. Leah, what are your favorite things or favorite classes in school?
One of my favorite classes is probably anatomy because you just learn everything about the human body and how it functions. So I don't know what other classes are quite my favorite, but I mean they're all good teachers. All good classes to take.
I'm sure you've learned a bit about anatomy from too much personal experience with your knee.
Oh yeah, you learn a lot more once it happens to you.
What are you interested in studying in college? Do you have a college picked out for next year?
I do not have a college picked out quite yet. Still trying to figure out if I'm going to play sports in college and what I'm going to do. So.
Okay, well, there's plenty of time to think about that for sure. Let me try to get some kind of off the wall things here. What's your favorite memory of high school and high school sports so far? And obviously you've got some more time to make memories yet.
My favorite memory is when we found out, like when we won to go to state and then being at state in the 2021 season. And it was awesome being able to play on the floor. And we just kind of want to get back there.
And that was volleyball, right? Okay. What's your favorite pregame meal?
Pregame meal, probably chicken and rice. Pretty basic.
It's better than some football players I know, I'll say that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Skittles is usually not considered a main course, not even in a Gordon Ramsay kitchen nightmare. What are some things you like to do in your off time?
Well, I do like to work out. I lift a lot. That ties in with sports too, helps with performance. I go to the lake a lot in the summers. I like wake surfing, all of that fun stuff. In the winters, we sometimes go just sledding and skiing. So not too much going on, but keep myself busy.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that at all. What are you looking forward to the rest of the school year?
Probably more sports, but and to graduate. So.
Okay. I should also remember that you were the homecoming queen this year. What was that like?
It was nice to see that my peers, I guess it was an honor for my peers to vote for me, and just took kindness, and yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you wanted to mention?
Not really. I don't know.
Okay. Well, Leah, we look forward to seeing you in volleyball. Hopefully the season will go on a little bit longer for the Nuggets, and then I assume basketball as well. And what in the spring?
Track and field, it would be.
Okay, what are your main events there?
When I was not injured, I was mainly a thrower, so I threw shot and disc, and then I did throw myself for a loop when I ran the 100 and then the mile.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah, it was a fun little. I don't know if I'll do that again. I might try out like the 400 or the 800, but
okay.
Let's see.
Well, Leah Tibbetts from Hawley, thank you so much for the time, and best of luck the rest of your school year.
Yeah, thank you for hosting.
And that's our senior spotlight for this week on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, brought to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. We'll be back after this.
Here's Trail District Health Unit Administrator Brenda Stallman with a timely health tip for the women in our lives.
October is a good time to take heed to that annual reminder of getting your mammogram. All women should be getting screened for breast cancer. Mammograms are essential. You can catch lesions that are far smaller than what you can see with the naked eye or feel with your fingers. So please take that moment to schedule your mammogram.
Contact Trail District Health Unit in Hillsborough to learn more on breast cancer prevention during this National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Bank of North Dakota wants you to be confident when it's time to make student loan decisions. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident to calculate the maximum amount of student loan debt that is recommended based on your career choice. You can also learn how to apply for financial aid and get tips to cut education expenses. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident today.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits including time off available from day one, American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at AmericanCrystalCareers.com.
Ada-Borup-West plays Mahnomen-Waban in the Section 8A football title on Thursday. Let's hear from the Cougars on their win in the section semifinals, and then we'll hear from Tanner Carlson to close out the program, chatting Wyndmere-Lidgerwood volleyball.
First with Ada-Borup-West's Charles Shaw.
Yeah, Charlie, I think you guys had a great game today. You had one of those big tide-turning plays with the interception. Why don't you tell the viewers what you saw there and how you reacted?
So the first drive when I was on defense, I came for Casper. And I've been playing the weak safety a lot, so I'm used to I run first at weak safety on our team. So I bit out of play action. They got deep. Luckily, he didn't catch it, but then later that same drive, I bit up on a short out, and they got the touchdown. So I knew I had to get depth when we read past her, so I just got depth. I think we got some pressure. It flowed a little bit, and I just jumped in front of it, and there wasn't many people in front of me, so it's pretty easy to walk it in.
And you almost ran over your principal on that touchdown, correct?
Yeah, I'm right on the sideline. He was a little close to the field. I thought we're going to almost give him a stiff arm.
That would have been entertaining for pretty much all of our viewers. All right, so a big game coming up here. Going to be playing in the Fargo Dome. What are you most forward? What are you looking forward to most?
Well, I heard Mahnomen-Waban and Polk County West are in overtime right now, so it should be a fun game no matter who we get. It was both a one-score game last time we played those two teams, and then I'm just looking forward to it being warm in there. It's not fun playing in the cold.
Yeah, definitely played through the weather today. Congratulations, Charlie. Appreciate it, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Charlie Shaw down on the field with Josh Carlson as our post-game show continues. The post-game stars of the game from American Federal Bank and Ada and Peter Jacobson Construction of Halstead. Down on the field, Josh is there. Carlson's got Austin McCraven standing by.
Yeah, Austin playing offensively, defensively. Let's start with offense right away. You had some pretty crucial throws there. What are you really looking for when you kind of get outside there with some of those bootlegs?
Just trusting my receivers and my O-line. My O-line giving me enough time to throw, and then trusting my receivers will get open, which usually they do, and then just kind of lead them, let them go make a play. Not have to throw it right on the money because I got a lot of athletic guys out there that can go catch it either way too.
Absolutely, definitely a lot of talent out there. So defensively, knowing the Polk County West, Red Lake Falls coming in, run-heavy team. What was your game plan today to make sure that you tried to stop that Rebel offense?
We just wanted to fill the box, kind of take away a lot of their dives and power stuff, which we did. So they kind of had to go a little more passing, which is good for us because we got a lot of athletic guys out there to go make plays on the ball too.
Absolutely. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you.
Austin McCraven, one of our stars of the game down on the field, is the Ada-Borup-West Cougars. 38-15 winners over Red Lake County. More of our stars of the game as Mahnomen-Waubun and Polk County West. Let's see here. Mahnomen-Waubun, I do believe, we're getting an official call. They just got a call back. Mahnomen-Waubun scored, but it just got called back on a hold in overtime, so stay tuned. More to come there. Down in the field, more in our post-game report. Josh Carlson's down in the field, and it looks like he's got Jackson Miller with him as one of our stars of the game. Josh?
Yeah, Jackson, big role on the defense there. You had a lot of big hits. What were you keying on this at this game?
I just wanted to make sure I was getting to the ball and helping my team stop 25 and all their running backs and just try to get to the ball.
Absolutely, and he is a beast out there. I think you guys did an excellent job taking him on head-on throughout the game. Now, obviously, you're going to be playing on turf today, and you're going to go inside playing on turf against the winner of the game against Mahnomen-Waubun, Polk County West. What are you going to look forward to mostly in that game?
The warm weather, and it'll be kind of cool to play in the Fargo Dome where the Bison play and all those big college teams. And yeah, it'll just be really fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackson. Nice win.
There we go, down on the field with more of our stars of the game. Jackson Miller for the Ada-Borup-West Cougars, as the Cougars will play at 7 o'clock on Thursday night inside the Fargo Dome for the Section 8A final. Last year, Red Lake County was there. They got beat today. Ada-Borup-West wins it 38-15 over the Rebels. Now, more down on the field with stars of the game from American Federal Bank and Ada, Peter Jacobson Construction. As the guy down on the field with Josh Carlson, his name is Cameron Spaeth. Cameron today did have 4 catches, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had an 80-yard kick return for a touchdown, and Cameron also had a 2-point conversion pass complete, but he also threw an interception. So he kind of did a little bit of everything out there. Josh has got Cameron down on the field.
Yeah, like you said, Kevin, Cameron spent a lot of time, in the end zone or facilitating people in the end zone. So, Cameron, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of those plays?
We brought back Bunch from last season when we played RLC, and second-round playoffs. We were on the losing end of it because they adjusted, and we hadn't done Bunch all year, and we came back and did it, and it worked. And it's really nice having a receiving core that is close outside of football, where we all kind of understand each other and know each other's habits. And, when we're able to do that, we are able to find little holes and blind spots into defenses and make plays. So I think that's what we did, and that's what kind of helped me, I guess.
Absolutely. A lot of fun out here, a lot of big plays today. Obviously playing on the turf outside, a little bit different than playing on the turf inside. What are you looking forward to potentially playing in the Fargo Dome?
Just it being warm, and then it's always nice to go to college, a well-known, winning heavy college, especially NDSU. It's an honor, and I'm really excited. I think we've been there twice in my career, once 8th grade and then once sophomore year. We haven't been back since, so it'll be nice to be back there and get that feeling again.
Yeah, I know that our patrons are really looking forward to that game, so we wish you guys the best of luck. Good luck preparing for that one, and we'll hopefully get another W.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
As Josh Carlson's there with the head coach of Ada-Borup-West, Paul Tingham.
Hey, Coach. Wonderful win today. What are your thoughts on the game?
I thought we played a great first half. We scored on all 3 phases of the game. We had a couple touchdowns on offense, kick return, pick for a touchdown. So it's not too often you score in all three phases. So that was really nice to see. I think, after the first drive that they had, we made some adjustments. They came on a couple different formations and a couple different looks. And after that first drive, we kind of adjusted to that. And kids did a great job of really limiting what they did the whole first half. And then we played really well. I mean, that was our best first half of the season. So a great time to come out and play like that.
Absolutely agree with that, Coach. Obviously playing on the turf today, you're going to be playing in the Fargo Dome next Thursday against Mahnomen Waub. And what are you going to do to make sure your team is prepared for that?
This time of season, you just got to try to be as healthy as you can. It's going to be a lot of, mental practice next week, alignment, knowing what we're going to do. You're not going to be physical at all. It's, Mahnomen Waub just won in overtime, so we know we're playing them. And we lost a tough one to them early in the season, week 3 or 4, whatever it was, and we just have to prepare. We know what they do. They're going to try to run their midline and their veer, and they run the quarterback a ton. They run their fullback a ton, and we got to do what we do. We got to try to find some things that we can take advantage of on offense, hopefully, and defensively. We got to get a game plan together and try to, nobody stops them, but you got to try to slow them down and hopefully cause some turnovers and. Hopefully get off the field on 3rd and 4th down, because they, pretty much anywhere in the field for them is 4-down territory. They go for it backed up in their own half of the field. So it's gonna be a battle for sure, and we gotta hope we come out and play like we did the first half today. If we can come out and play like we did the first half today and they beat us, so be it. But we're just gonna come out and give our best effort and play football, and hopefully things go our way. And if it doesn't, we're gonna give our best effort anyway.
Absolutely. Great win today, Coach. Good luck in the section championship game.
Hey, thank you.
That is Josh Carlson down on the field with the head coach of Ada-Borup-West football, Paul Tingham.
The victorious coach tonight, Tanner Carlson for Wyndmere-Lidgerwood. Let's talk, before we get to postseason, let's just talk, what did you see out of your girls tonight? Before the game we said that this game really didn't mean anything in the standings. I shouldn't say it really didn't mean anything in the standings for you, but what did you see in a game where they could have maybe pulled off the reins a little bit?
Right. Yeah, I think it was a big momentum game. I knew we were locked in for the 2 seed. The girls knew that, but they still came out to play, so that's awesome. And it's always nice to win that last regular season game going into the regional tournament. I thought we played. This part of the season is always a little bit strange. Seems like September, early October, there's games, tournaments, and now, we've played like maybe 2 games in 2.5 weeks. It feels like so. Having these longer breaks, you never know how they're going to show up, but I thought we did a great job. It was super hot in this gym tonight. I know home court advantage in this gym is real, but I thought we played really well. We actually tried out some new stuff. Caroline, obviously, she played great. I don't know how many kills she had yet. I'll have to count all that stuff up, but I thought back row, in this gym, with how the ceiling is, I thought we didn't have a whole lot of balls go off the ceiling, but I thought if they did, we were all ready to go. They tried tipping a lot. Our back row was ready to go. And we just pulled up this freshman, Maya Cackman. She had some big kills for us. This was her varsity debut, so she got the last point of the match, and so she played really well.
No butterflies in the stomach for the freshman there.
Didn't seem like it.
So you're talking that back row, and I think that's a great way to bring in our RDK Enterprises precision play of the game. Look at your libero back there, Kira Johnson. Yeah. If this was a baseball field, her jersey would be full of grass stains. She was everywhere tonight.
Yeah, she was a little banged up at the start. She had that pad on her leg, but that came off pretty quick, didn't phase her. So even though it's a little bruised, but I think she was fine with it coming off. She's a hard worker. She's a horse. She, from corner to corner, line to line, I know she's going to give it her all. She doesn't care if she gets hurt. She doesn't care if she runs into the wall. She's going to try to make her best attempt at a play. Great veteran leadership back there. A lot of our girls been playing quite a while, so having that veteran senior leadership is kind of paying off for our team this year.
Yeah, that veteran leadership that unfortunately, this is coaching, but it goes away. So hopefully someone takes her shoes and all of your senior shoes here in the next coming season. But we're not talking next season. We're talking postseason right now. You locked up a number 2 seed in Region 1, so you don't have to go and play anywhere or host anybody. You're going to Lisbon, and that is a big break here for you too. That'll be your first game in 7 days. So is there any concerns there, or is your team going to be locked in by the time Lisbon, I should say the Region 1 tournament rolls around?
I think we have a good chance to be locked in. We'll probably, as you said, it sounds like we're playing the winner of these guys, Maple River and Enderlin, right?
Maple River and Enderlin won in 3 sets, so they will be coming here to the Raider Dome. Yes.
Okay. So we're still debating on if we're going to come here or not, or maybe just have a watch party, watch as a team, have some team bonding stuff. But, yeah, we're going to have a lot of practices. We're going to have a lot of time to prepare. This was a good team. That second set, that wasn't because we were playing terrible. They beat us. If they're on, they have a couple players who can make a lot of plays, and they made the right plays in the right situations in our right rotation. So hats off to them. Luckily, we were able to come out tonight, and if it happens to be them again or Enderlin, prep for Enderlin too, we'll have to see who wins that one first.
So show respect there by Coach Carlson to Coach Poole and his girls tonight. Didn't go down without a fight. And it was basically a 2 versus 7 matchup, which could end up happening again next week.
Yep.
We will see how this tournament plays out. Coach Carlson, thank you for joining us here on our post-game show.
That does it for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. Join us every Wednesday night for another edition at 7 o'clock on YourLiveEvent.com. And make sure you check out our radio platforms of KRJB, KRJM, KKCQ FM as well, and alongside YourLiveEvent.com for more high school volleyball and high school football in Minnesota and North Dakota here throughout the postseason, and as we dive into the winter season just a few short weeks away. Again, join us every Wednesday night at 7 for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show.